I'm back with Maria Hartman, our occupational therapist and the owner of Foundations of Learning. Maria, can you tell me when a parent comes to you and they are frustrated and they have a little kid who's all over the place, lacking in self-control, doesn't seem to be doing well in school, what are some of the first things that you work with as a parent? And what do you see the role of the parent being in helping their child to be successful in their academics?
Well, I have a variety of parents who have different circumstances that they're dealing with. The best results are always when the parent can incorporate some of the techniques that I am doing, and they are simple. They're not like this is just too much for me to do. They are easy to carry over, and I explain them. And the moms who incorporate this, even 5 minutes between subjects, see such a difference in their kids' planning and focus because they are just getting more input to their brain. That's very important. So there are some parents who really are overwhelmed and they don't carry over some of these things, but the ones who do are very excited, and they have almost in a way like a new bond with their kid. They're understanding that this is important. This is what he needs. This is what she needs. It's not because they're trying to be difficult. Their body is just not working smoothly. Their brain isn't organized. And if they can carry over some of these things, I always tell moms, it's not doing exactly what I do that is most important. It's understanding the concepts of what I'm looking for. And if you can vary that and carry that over in different ways, then that's even more successful. So getting moms to understand their kids in a different light is huge. And just had some excellent carryover, and I think the kids feel a little bit more understood by their parents as well.
Do you feel that in a homeschool environment versus maybe like a traditional conventional classroom environment, how would the strategies that you're implementing, would they be different? And is the role of the parent different in those circumstances? And how does that play out in things that you're doing?
I think in the homeschool environment, you have optimal opportunity to stop and say, all right, we're going to take 10 minutes and do this motor activity. We're going to bounce balls on, different colored circles and see if you could sequence that. We're going to do, A, B, and C. That's not an option at school to just get up. A lot of times the kids have to just hold it together as long as they can. Now, that doesn't mean when you're at home, the child is able to do whatever they want, but you can get a sense of when they're starting to feel very overwhelmed and frustrated, and then there's only disorganization and there isn't learning. The child needs stability and organization within their body before they can focus and attend. So it is really important that those things take place. And I have seen kids who, fall out of their chair, they're pushing people, they're hitting, and again, they're looking for information, they're jumping, they're running, they just cannot calm down, and some of these things just really help with the child's ability to get feedback in an organized way so that they can learn and they can attend.
Have you ever had a parent come to you just in total frustration of just, I'm pulling out my hair, I'm crying every day, I don't know what to do? What are some ways that you encourage them, and how do you help them to see that their role in their child's academic success is vital?
Well, I do. What comes to mind is a mom that probably about 4 or 5 years ago came to me with that exact scenario, and she said, they just don't even want to deal with him in the classroom, and they want to put him on medication. And I just know that's not the answer. So it was probably the quickest success story I ever had, but it was because the mom was so key. So I worked with him 5 times, and this kid was just hungry for sensory information. We did an initial assessment, and I spoke to her about what I saw and what I found, and she carried things over multiple times a day. Before he went to school, she gave him all this deep input. She gave him all of this feedback that he needed. He went to school, she started seeing changes when he came home before his homework, before he was expected to do something again where he needed to sit down and focus. His body received what it needed, and she saw this child transform. He was not hitting anybody. He was sitting in his chair. He was not running. He wasn't touching everything. And again, so many times we are asking our kids to do something that they physically can't do. And it's not a cognitive thing that they can override. If your body is in need of a feedback, you cannot just turn it off and say, all right, I'm going to pay attention. It's just not possible. This might be a good spot to bring up that I think we're seeing a lot of kids who are really struggling with learning and different things because we're giving kids technology far too early. That is a big detriment to a lot of what's going on because kids don't learn creative play. They don't learn how to use their bodies because they're entertained by something visually, and that in itself is giving the frontal lobe constant feedback. You're getting all of these visual impulses, and that translates then for their movements. Well, I need to keep this up because this is all that I've been seeing. Whereas like when I grew up, I was bored many times and I had to come up with ways to entertain myself, learned about my body, learned about movement, learned about coordination and balance and sequencing. And our kids are just a totally different generation of learners now, and it's not for the best.
Yeah, and again, the role of the parent and when and how much those things are introduced.
Absolutely.
Yeah.